welcome to Almanac North. I'm Mari Hewitt.
And I'm Brett Scott. Thank you for joining us. Tonight, we're hearing from a nonprofit, area nonprofits, as they work to impact our region.
Plus, we're heading out on the ice to see what it's like to compete as a figure skater.
That's all coming up, but first we begin. Big news for Duluth homeowners and prospective buyers. The Duluth Housing and Redevelopment Authority, or HRA, has secured nearly $1.7 million in funding to help support two key housing projects. $300,000 for exterior renovations and fuel oil conversions for low-income homeowners to help reduce utility cost. Additionally, $1.3 million to help fund the building and sale of 15 new homes in the Morgan Park and Central Hillside neighborhoods. Mayor Roger Reinert applauded the HRA, stating that expanding home options is crucial to reaching Duluth's 2030 population goal of 90,000 residents.
Starting January 29th, the Superior National Forest is updating the process for thru hikers in the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness. In partnership with the North Country National Scenic Trail, two new entry points, NCT East number 90 and NCT West number 91, will make it easier for hikers to legally cross the Gunflint Trail and re-enter the BWCA without needing multiple permits. This change will reduce fees and simplify the process for hikers on the Border Route and Kekakabik trails. The update follows collaboration with local trail groups and the National Park Service and aims to improve access to one of the largest wilderness sections of the North Country National Scenic Trail.
And finally, this week, Representative Leish Kozlowski and Pete Johnson visited Duluth. Our team met up with them to discuss their trip.
I am the Executive Director at Union Gospel Mission, and today we were really appreciative to have the two representatives join us so that we can show them what we're doing now, the work we're doing, and really kind of explain the capacity that we've reached and the goals that we have for the future, the biggest being our relocation and expansion, and the support needed to make that happen here at both the state level but also the local level.
I'm out here with Representative Pete Johnson and myself, bringing the capital to the community, as legislators who are runners, who are active in our community, who are parents, and really looking to drive forward community-led solutions. While we're away from the House floor and everything that is transpiring in St. Paul, we continue to do our work beyond just behind a desk. And so we're out here visiting future bonding projects, future housing projects, and meeting with the community and continuing to deliver on our promise to really work and drive solutions forward for Duluth.
So our primary program is our meal program. We serve breakfast and lunch Monday through Friday and dinner Monday through Thursday. And then we also have a summer food break program for kiddos in the community. And then we also have housing above the mission. So we have a community housing facility, Mission Heights, upstairs, where we offer 20 bedrooms for guests that are experiencing homelessness. And then all day long, we're giving out hygiene items, warm clothes, blankets, whatever our guests may need. If it's the winter time, we're giving out hand warmers, hats, mittens. If it's the summer, sunscreen, t-shirts, whatever that looks like. And so we're really just lucky to be here, be able to offer that. We offer a warm space all week long for guests just to stay with us during the day so that they can stay outside of the brutal elements outdoors and have a cup of coffee, use a bathroom, whatever that looks like.
When I did run and when I got elected, my plan wasn't just to be sitting in an office in St. Paul either. It was going to be talking to people, it was going to be getting feedback and things like that, and that's exactly what we're doing here today.
So we have massive housing needs in our community and food insecurity that we want to tackle, our roads and our bridges and our streets that we're here standing by, and we can get in and pass a responsible budget, pass a bonding bill, and do some good policy for Minnesota.
If I have somebody that has an issue, like if they wanted to come down and lobby for the Union Gospel Mission, generally they're going to get a 15-minute time slot and then it's off to the next thing. this gives us an opportunity to get a tour, to get our eyes on it, to see the space and have a much more in-depth conversation about the needs, and ultimately will make us better at advocating for those needs when we're back down in St. Paul. So ultimately it's saving those folks, you know, the trip down in some aspects, but giving them more time to educate us on the issues that they're having so that we can be better advocates when we're down there.
I don't think I would be in this role if I didn't care about the folks that I get to work with all day long. And we're just really appreciative that the guests allow us to be a part of their lives, share our stories, and be with us on this journey.
Our guests this week are Executive Director Tracy Klana and Board Chair Cindy Kent from First Witness Child Advocacy Center in Duluth. Thank you both for joining us.
You're welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
So for those who aren't familiar with First Witness, maybe you could start with an overview of your mission and what you do.
Sure, I can start with that. So our mission is to strengthen our community's response to child abuse. We have also a vision that we stand firm with, and that is that we envision a society that supports children and puts an end to child abuse. So that's a bold vision, but we work towards it every single day.
That's wonderful. Cindy, you've been around for more than 30 years in the community. What does that mean for this region?
It's such an important organization, and I guess I want to say that the mission and the vision is really what drew me to First Witness. I have a background taking care of children, and just to look and to think ahead that all of us working together in our community, there are things that we all can do to make sure that our kids are safe, that they're nurtured, that their families are supported. So that's what drew me to the organization.
So what sort of services does First Witness offer?
Yeah, I can answer that. So when there is an alleged case of child abuse, so a report is made to either law enforcement or social services, that investigator will call First Witness and set up what we call a forensic interview. Our forensic interviews are child-friendly, they're culturally affirming, and they're legally sound. So the team of investigators, law enforcement, social services, and county attorneys look on at that interview through a camera, and our interviewers, we have 3 professional forensic interviewers that do the interviews with the children. It's a safe place for children to come and talk about their experience. And it is, like I said, a forensically sound space. So children have the opportunity to tell their story, and if they're not ready to tell their story, that's okay too. During that time, we also have advocacy. So the caregivers of the children also receive advocacy services. And lastly, we know that we can't achieve that vision without doing prevention. So we have partnerships with all of the local schools, going in and talking to children, talking to parents, talking to teachers, lots of youth serving agencies to ensure that they are all involved in preventing child abuse.
Definitely. In today's world, what are some of the biggest challenges facing youth and children in our community when it comes to safety and well-being?
So many things that you can think of. I think of bullying, what children are exposed to sometimes, either online or through violence. So that's why I'm appreciative of the expertise that First Witness brings. If we're talking about our education and prevention to children, they learn how to tell an adult or what types of things they should be able to maybe let someone else know that they're being exposed to.
What does funding look like for First Witness?
Yeah.
What do those efforts look like?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we have a mix of funding. We do benefit from a tremendous generosity from our community. So both individuals and businesses have been very generous to First Witness, and we're very grateful. We also have a lot of foundational grants from some of our local foundations and also some of the statewide foundations. We are also a national training center, and so revenue from the training that our staff does around the country. We train both on advocacy and forensic interviewing and prevention, and so the dollars from those trainings are part of our funding mix. And then lastly, we do have funding from both state and federal sources as well.
Sure. And how does First Witness, how are you supporting families in crisis in the region, specifically maybe the adults who are facing those challenges?
We do have a new building now, and we just moved in this year. But it's so wonderful that we have services now in one place, so children can come and tell their story. We have beautifully decorated, homey areas for the families, the non-offending caregivers to meet with our advocates. We even have a space for medical exams. We've got a spiritual room so people can spend time in there in a way that could be supportive to them. I just think it's such a gem in our community, and the small staff that works there, like Tracy said, we're a national training center. People from all over the country come to the trainings that we have. And when she speaks about our forensic interviews, I'm impressed as a board member when I listen to the law enforcement or people in the judicial system, how much they depend on our interviewers to make sure that they do really professional, legally sound interviews. So it's a wonderful space to support families.
It seems like it is obviously such a very important nonprofit that we wish we didn't have to have.
Right.
But you're doing amazing work and this training that draws people from all over the nation. Do other cities similar size to Duluth have resources like First Witness?
Yeah, sure. I can speak to that. So the concept of child advocacy centers came on the scene about 35 years ago. So Duluth and St. Louis County were early adopters of this child advocacy center model. And we had a tremendous group of leaders, including our county attorney at that time, Mark Rubin, who really championed the child advocacy center model. And so since then, about 1,100 child advocacy centers have popped up around the country. So it's a model that works. It's a model that keeps children safe. It's a model that supports families during a time of crisis. And it is a model that really brings resources to families in times when they really need them.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned reaching out to the local school districts in the region.
Yeah.
What does that look like for a classroom presentation? What are the kids looking for and learning?
Yeah, thanks for that question. We love our prevention education program, and we love our partnerships with the schools. We now are really happy that entire districts have signed on to our prevention education model. Prior to this, it might have been a school here, a school there, a teacher here, a teacher there, and now particularly our Duluth public schools, schools in Two Harbors, schools in Carleton County, have all engaged in our Safe and Strong Child program. And what that looks like is our prevention educators go into classrooms, all of the classrooms, every year, and then they also talk to the teachers in a teacher session, and then also a caregiver session is held at all of the schools. Recognizing that children can't do this alone, they can't keep themselves alone or safe alone. We need to step up as a community, and those who are working with children are really an important part of that equation.
So folks sitting at home who are learning about First Witness, want to be a part of it, want to help, how can they get involved?
Yeah. Because our services are confidential, and we really work hard to keep the children in a private and confidential space, we don't have a lot of volunteer opportunities other than our board of directors. So people in our community can certainly help us by providing funding, and they can go to our website and do that. But also, we know that we can't do this alone. We have to have our community. If we're going to end child abuse, everyone in our community needs to take responsibility for that. And so supporting your neighbors, supporting the children in your neighborhood, supporting the children that are in your lives, thinking about how important it is to keep them safe. that's really what people can do.
And on this cold winter day, we're thinking about spring. You have an upcoming event this spring, Cindy. Tell us a little bit about that.
We have our annual Spring Splash, which is our gala that we get together and we hear the stories of First Witness. We hear the wonderful things that the staff are doing. We have games. We have amazing food. I could go on and on. We have a silent auction, but then there's opportunities for people to fund specific programs at First Witness. They may want to help fund our forensic interviewers. They may want to help fund our educational programs. So it's just a wonderful opportunity that's coming up April 10th for the community to get involved, either attend or support as a sponsor or a silent auction.
Wonderful.
Sounds exciting.
Mark it on the calendar.
Yes.
We're looking
we would
forward
love
to
have
spring.
you.
Like I just
Yes,
said.
yes.
Thank you both for being with us. We
Yeah.
appreciate
Thanks so
it.
much.
Thank you.
On this week's Making It Up North, our team met a local prism glass artist. Take a look.
I started making stained glass windows in about 1974. My future brother-in-law taught me how to cut glass, and I went on from there. I've made about 25 different windows for around town, my own houses. I had dining room windows, Flamers Bar, Willie's Mirage Bar, Holy Spirit Church in Virginia. Rebuilt a lot of old windows for Father Pat. And then one day I saw during work Susie Sassy Balloons down the street here, and she had this Luxfer glass window in the back that says Gately's. And I fell in love with the Luxfer style glass. I didn't even know what it was all about. And 20 years later, I'm driving by and they had torn down the Arrowhead bar sign and found a Bimbo's pizza sign. They tore that down, and I saw the windows on the front of the bar here. And I stopped and asked what they're going to do with them. And Jeremy said, I think Mike knows somebody that might work on those. So I came back a few days later and I got the job for free. Dennis and Pamela paid for the material, and I offered to do it because I just wanted to see those windows back up. Every storefront in the country had these windows and a direct sunlight to the back of the building before they even had power back in the early 1800s, 1880, 1870. And these windows here have a Frank Lloyd Wright patent on a style of glass, and it's called the flower. And I think there's 108 of them in these 4 windows. They're just a different look to them, and I've always loved this, and it's took me 4 months to do these windows. They were painted green on the inside in the old days when it was a bar and they didn't want the light, so I stripped all that paint off, 60 pieces at a time, 3 days to do the 60 pieces, and I put 60 more in, scrub them off, get the paint off, and then 560 pieces later I started to build windows. And the first one was a struggle, and I ran out of material, so we ordered some new zinc caming from Colorado. They had a direct ship to my house, and I started cutting, and it went a lot easier with the proper material. And the last couple windows were kind of like really easy. I was getting a little smarter, a little easier for me. I told Pamela it's gonna work, so I created them up and hauled them to town. It's been a few months since I finished, and they're up and in, and I'm thrilled. And I'd like some other stores around the area to maybe do the same thing, show their windows off again. This is all made to direct, the glass has little slats, grooves on it, and they point up, and it shines the light back. It's just a reflection, and it goes up. It's a whole different thing. You can see just in a cloudy day that 30 or 40 feet of the ceiling is lit up, and it's a whole different look, a little brightness compared to what it was painted green. It was a real dark place back then. So I'm thrilled, and I enjoyed it. And I'm glad that Pamela and Dennis are going to have a nice little fun bar here.
It's fun to see how tedious that is.
Yeah, I had no
hours.
idea that that was kind of the standard, Main Street look was
Right.
those special glass prism window panes.
And the importance of how they're pointing up and letting the light
Letting
in.
the natural light in. So
Wow.
very cool that he's restoring that.
That's wonderful.
Well, finally, our Venture North team slid into the world of figure skating at the deck. They heard from organizers and competitors to learn what it's all about and what it takes to find success on the ice.
I'm Leah Scudamore. I'm the marketing chair of the Duluth Figure Skating Club and the Northland competition. It's been going on since 1979. It's a fundraiser for the Duluth Figure Skating Club to help us compensate for ice time, because ice is super expensive in Duluth with all the hockey teams, as I'm sure you can attest to or know about. So yeah, it's one of our largest fundraisers of the year, and it's a lot of work. Oh my gosh, we start prepping for this event in July to get it ready, because there's officials to organize and fly in. We have, I think, around 40 officials that fly in or drive up or in to judge competition, officiate over the competition, and then we have referees that are who help lead it through U.S. figure skating. So it's a lot of people that come up to help this event. It is the largest figure skating competition that's non-qualifying, meaning if you are not going the Olympic track, then you're going to do the other competitions, which is called Excel. And the Excel competition is where there's still a national event and you're still doing all that things, but you just want to compete at the national level, but you're not necessarily looking to go to the Olympics. Do you know what I mean? It's a really cool, it's like a sister pathway to go through figure skating.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Scudamore. I'm doing Excel Novice Free Skate at Northland competition. I've been skating for a little over 14 years. I started really young, but then doing learn to skate and stuff, but then joined the Duluth Figure Skating Club when I was 7. So I usually do 3 to 4 competitions a year, but this one is definitely my favorite.
We have 608 competitors: Oklahoma City, Kansas City, Southern California, New York. Last year there was a college student going to college in the US that wanted to compete and go somewhere where there was a lot of bodies, and she was actually from the Federation of Japan. So yeah, they come from everywhere. We have adult skaters that Northland offers skating for adults, and that's not something that's normal or not always available. So we try to make it a big part of our competition to offer it, because adults that figure skate do it their entire life. So our oldest competitor this weekend is 86 years old. She's been skating for like 50, 60 years.
If you're someone that wants to get into skating and you're thinking about it and on the edge and you don't really want to do it, I definitely suggest you could do it, because it's a great way to really push yourself and see what you can achieve. I've had most of my biggest challenges in figure skating, and I think that's really helped me prepare for future events that I'm gonna have to deal with, getting older and other things that I need to accomplish. So I think figure skating is a really big part that helps you get over that stuff. But if you're someone that just wants to figure skate for fun, I definitely suggest that you join a learn to skate or join a figure skating club, because it's definitely just something that you should really do. I really suggest it if you're thinking about it.
Figure skating is very fun. It's a lifelong sport. The people that are doing it, they typically stay involved somehow. If they start when they're little skating, they end up being a coach, they end up being an official, they end up being a judge. They end up just volunteering because they love the sport. It's very inclusive. Everybody can do it because it's an individualistic sport. So not on a team, you have to win to proceed forward, right? With figure skating, yeah, you make the podium or not. But if you're not worried about the podium, most people aren't worried about the podium. They're more geared towards, do more points than they did last time. So if a skater had 36 this time, next time they're going to shoot for 40 points. And their points are dependent on how many extra rotations are on a spin, how long they held this one spiral, which is the leg out behind you thing, right? So it's a sport where you get to put together your pieces and your elements that you're strongest at and build your point system and then see what you can do to score it. And that's the only sport that's like that. It's really cool because it's everybody's own sport.
That was so inspirational.
Yeah, I'm stuck on the fact that there is an 86-year-old that's
Right?
competing. That's so impressive. But skating is a lifelong sport.
It truly is, yes. How are you at skating?
Yeah, not for me, I guess.
No? Like I was saying, I can skate around in a circle, but I'm not flipping up in the air.
I took skating lessons. I didn't have a natural talent.
Yeah, I appreciate those who do, though, and
I do
I would get
too.
cold out there.
It's one of my favorite Olympic sports.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
love to watch it. So
It's enjoyable. Sure is. We've got a lot more skating time this winter left to go, right?
that's right.
Well, that's it for this week's show. Thank you for joining us this week. I'm Brett Scott.
And I'm Mari Hewitt. Have a good night.